For the fan favorite segment, the fans on the touchline on Y254. My name is Maxwell Wasika. Our focus this particular afternoon is international football, but specifically to the ongoing World Cup 21st edition, and of course third place playoffs slated for this evening, 5 p.m. East African time. Red Devils of Belgium against the Lions of England, locking horns against each other to know who will finish as the third placed finish as far as the coveted championship is concerned. But remember the finale tomorrow, 6 p.m. Croatia against Le Bleu, 1998 World Cup champion, seeking to win it second time since its inception. But right about now, of course, straight we delve into what's been happening, and of course joining me on set, Robert Osoro, my able co-host, still with me, then Nick Lehangas joining us for the first time. Joe Sain, of course, he's been here. Starting with you, gentlemen, starting with you, Nick. What do you think about the World Cup so far? What has been the most captivating moment?
I think the World Cup has been great so far, and the greatest inception is of the VAR. I think it's the play of the tournament so far. In 2014 we had the goal line technology and the magic spray. So I think VAR has been impressive so far, awarding 19 penalties. That's more than 202 World Cup, which were 18.
And talking about the VAR, there has been this claim on social media platforms that VAR was only being used when African teams were still taking part in the World Cup, but immediately they left, VAR is no longer into use. Is it that the European teams have been too cautious?
Not exactly. It's because it's an introduction. It's a technology introduction, and for African leagues, we have not yet used it, although we experimented on it. Again, our African type of football is a bit physical, and at that point, obviously, VAR will affect our overall performance. That being said, even the Asian teams did not fare well with VAR, the likes of Saudi Arabia, Morocco. So I don't think it's an African thing. I think it's an introductory thing. The only problem is what they tend to do is that they tend to now take advantage. You've seen so many times they try and they say, you know what, you don't even look at the referee. Immediately you like,
yes,
all the players.
I think it was because it was becoming too much rugby. The rugby is where we are used to when a foul is happening and everything. The referee has to watch the screen and do that. But for VAR, I think, as technology advances also, they realize that they are wasting too much time for the referee to go to the screen to review it. So it's better for the VAR assistant to just talk to him directly. So after the group stage, you realize that we did not see a lot of players singling out the VAR. The referee just calms them down and listens to what the VAR referee is saying, then takes it over, and that's how it happened. So as the group stage was over now, the moment they removed that thing of the referee signaling to the VAR and everything, I think we came back to a normal football.
But overall, what do you make of the state of refereeing as far as the World Cup is concerned? Do you think it's been up to the standards?
Yeah, I think so. It's up to standard because the referee who is going to do the final is Pikana, the Argentinian former actor, who is going to be the referee. I think in all the games they did in the group stage so far, they have been good. The only referee everybody had a problem with was the American referee in the game between England and Colombia. I think that was one game where we had Mark Gregor being brought into the spotlight because controlling the players was hard for him, in that he did not have that mantle, that Colina in him, that Howard Webb in him to really control the players. But so far, the referees have been fantastic.
Nick, over to you now. Semi-finals happened. I remember watching together with you and Robert Osoro, England against Croatia. Of course, previous game pitted France against Belgium, with Le Bleu advancing to the finals. What do you think Red Devils under Roberto Martinez and his assistant Thierry Henry went wrong to ensure that they failed to sail through to the finals?
I think, first of all, I'd like to say that Lukaku did not show up when he was needed most. Then we have to give credit to Eden Hazard. He performed really well. And overall, I think what let Belgium down was the finishing, mainly Lukaku, and they were naive, if so to say. And just a fact, each and every World Cup winner has been coached by its own nationality, by the coach of the nationality of the country. Looking at Deschamps, looking at Zlatko Dalic, I think that may also be a factor, but it's not factual. But I think striking let Belgium down.
Joe, do you agree that the attacking department led by Romelu Lukaku, who features for your own club, Man United, was a little bit blunt and it costed the team?
I think they were complacent. They were complacent because they had seen many teams through, including England. And when they got to France, they thought they'll apply the same type of game. Unfortunately for France, they caught them on the counter-attack. And on not only counter-attack, but the defense was very well. For Belgium, unfortunately, they didn't show up. Like my colleague has just said, they did not show up. And
I like to disagree with both of you. I think Belgium and France, all of them came to the party. But the team that won that game was a team that was functional in the game. Because I heard Jose Mourinho say, and I think that's the argument, I agreed with him 100%. He said that when a team is superior than you, one team has to be humble. And in most of these circumstances, a team that is usually humble wins. So Belgium, they threw everything at France from the first minute, and France had to soak in all that pressure. But the moment they got that one goal, they get the ball going forward, they attack. The moment they lose that ball, they go back to their defensive shape, which was very compact and very good. Because you realize that against Japan, Fellaini was a very big factor when he came on board going forward. Against the other team that they lost to, he went defensive. After Japan, what did Belgium play? In the quarterfinals.
Argentina.
Yeah, and against Argentina, yeah. He was going back to defend to help very well. But now when it came to France, which was very good defensively set up, it was tough for him. We saw Fellaini not having an impact in that game. That's why he had to go off. And then that attack mantle gets you off the guard when you are defending.
Let's talk about a fixture pitting Three Lions of England against Croatia, a team that is in the final and will take on Les Bleus of France. Of course, a lot has been talked about the English national team, and Luka Modric during the post-match press interview saying that, you know, the English press motivated and inspired them to win owing to what they had talked about, the Croats. But we have to admit and we have to agree unanimously on this particular platform that Three Lions, in as much as they were bundled out of the showpiece during the semi-final stage, they have defied all odds and performed exceptionally well, contrary to many people's expectations. We've seen several players, you know, sparkling and being exceptional, Kevin Trippier and even Harry Maguire on the back line. But do you think the English press was the main undoing for the team to get into the final and repeat what they did in 1966?
Joe, please don't stop me when we leave this set. let me put it the way I saw it myself. The English press is very good. No one takes that away from them. But the English team has not performed this way since 1966. Now, them getting into the semi-final, everybody has to be up in arms and talk about the team, the way it's good and all that, and because everybody follows the English Premier League and all that. But the English game itself was good, but was not that good. Because one player that the England team lacked was a playmaker. They did not have a very good playmaker who could give those key passes the way Luka Modric does it.
They lacked number 10.
Yeah, Henderson tried very well. He did a very good role. Being an anchor midfielder and dictating tempo from deep in the six was very tough for him. But they needed a player like Steven Gerrard, a player like Frank Lampard, a player like Luka Modric, who can give those...
Eden Hazard.
Yeah, that playmaking role is the one that failed England. But there's nothing you can take away from them.
But Joe, what was the secret behind the Croats, you know, coming from behind, Trippier having scored the early goal, but, you know, guys bouncing back from that slump and scoring 2 goals and winning the fixture? What did the coach do to ensure that they achieved that? Is it because of the president who promised to hug them topless in case they get to the final? On a light note, though.
What happened was, I can attribute it to 2 things. Prior to this match, Croatia had gone more than 90 minutes in 2 games.
Yes.
They were visibly ready to go again another extra 90 minutes to the 120. That was 1. 2, England, their finishing again, to what my fellow colleague has said, the finishing let us down. The last final ball to the strikers, to the Hurricanes, to the Raheem Sterlings was awful. As much as we scored yes fast and we were very fast to the count, we were very fast. The idea was that we did not.
A little bit of technical hitches we're experiencing, but of course the technical crew working on the same to rectify the situation. This is the touchline, and we're talking about the ongoing 21st edition of FIFA World Cup happening in Russia. Third place playoff pitting Red Devils of Belgium against 3 Lions of England, my team. And by the way, I had promised on this particular show that I want to get married in case they won it. Now that they haven't won it,
they're going to stay
it's a dream gone haywire. But remember, finale pitting Croatia against Le Bleu of France tomorrow 6 p.m. East African time. The situation is rectified, and Joe, you can proceed. What do you think the Croats do to ensure that they bounce back successfully?
I can attribute it to two things. First of all, the Croatian team prior to this game had played two games beyond the 90-minute mark. They had the sustenance to go ahead. Remember, England finished all their games in the 90. Okay. The other thing that also brought England down was the finishing. As much as we had a very, very fast-paced game, the wing-backs were making the good runs that we needed them to make, the likes of Trippier and Young. The finishing was not there. We over-relied again on Harry Kane. And I remember I said this: if we can start Jamie Vardy and Harry Kane, we have two options to score goals instead of just relying on one guy to finish everything. Yes, he's going for the golden boot, but again, we are doing what we were condemning Argentina, Brazil, Germany, you understand, Portugal, relying on one person to make the key finishes, and that was our undoing. That being said, though, I'd like to correct again on my fellow pundit is that for the last 20 years, English football has really been scrutinized. Since the last time we were in the semi-final was 1990 with the likes of Paul Gascoigne. But coming back from 1988 World Cup to now, it has always been last 16s, penalty shootouts that are not right, missed chances. But this squad, this crop under Gareth Southgate should be proud that they have brought back the English football to where it is. And hopefully today, if they can finish third, I'm telling you something, it's going to change the landscape of English football.
I'm not a member of English press. I'm just a scribe from Kenya, but I have also to admit that England performed very well, contrary to many people's expectation. Don't judge me though. I'm just a diehard support of the team since a long time, by the way. And now speaking to you, Nick, let's talk about the tournament revelations. We've seen several players sparkling exceptional performance from them, and unfamiliar names that we didn't know before the tournament kicked off, but now coming to the fore. And even we've seen several high-profile clubs now getting associated with them, trying to acquire their signature. Who's been your tournament standout player so far? The unfamiliar name we didn't know, but now coming to the fold, he's impressed.
It's going to be a tough decision for me because we have the likes of having Lonzano, we have the likes of Pava, we also have the likes of Alex Golovin from Russia. But I'm going to go with one Kylian Mbappe. We knew he was world class, but we didn't expect him to show this much. He reminds me of Thierry Henry in 1998, and I think Mbappe has been really brilliant. He's done really well against Belgium. We saw what he did. The only thing that I condemn him is showboating, but Mbappe man showboating is a really good player.
Name my influence.
That's a good one. Yeah. Name my influence. Joe, your standout player?
For me, one name strikes up, and again, I will go back to the English squad, and that will be Harry Kane. Not because of his goal-scoring brilliance, the way he organized that team, the way he encouraged that team from the dugout all the way to the end of the game. Yes, he's a shoo-in for the Golden Boot award, but he reminds me of a young Alan Shearer. The way he was so composed. You understand? And it's very hard to get an English setup team whereby you have a striker who's the captain and who's able to voice his concerns or voice his jubilations on the field and off the field. For me, it's Harry Kane.
Personally, several names. Cheryshev from Russia, a man who had been left out of the squad, 23-man squad that had been named by the tactician just before another player got injured for him to come on the fold. He's been impeccable. He's sparkled to the high level, and I've seen several clubs now chasing for his signature. Torreira, a man who's just signed for Arsenal, and short, but quite a tormentor in the midfield. Not forgetting Ante Rebic, the Croatian young attacker, playing on the wing, and I'm reliably informed your team, Man United, now chasing for his services, and probably Jose Mourinho, in case he acquires him, the squad will be bolstered, and good for you. And like Nottingham Forest, we're not looking forward to signing a new player. Osoro Robert, your standout player?
England had Trippier.
Yes.
He was a very good revelation for the English team. He was a very good player.
Trippier versus Pavard.
Yeah.
Whom will you go for?
I'll go for Trippier. He was good going forward and all that. Then there was also another kid from Japan, Unai. Yeah, Unai from Japan was one good player in that Japanese side.
He scored the second goal against Belgium.
Yeah, was a very good player in that side. And then Africa, we don't rise to the occasion. We don't get any player that you could say was world class in this World Cup round. From Tunisia to
even
Morocco.
Sadio Mane.
No,
didn't sparkle.
It didn't sparkle.
Mo Salah injury and
Let's say
unfitness.
that injury was bad for him going on to the World Cup. That's why he never performed that well. But from Africa, we only had a world-class goal from Ahmed Musa.
Join the conversation, hashtag touchline Y254 22162 SMS line starting with the word touch. Talk to us at Wasike Maxwell at Osoro. But who's been your standout player as far as the championship is concerned? Getting to a elimination tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. in Russia. It's been a quite thrilling action, of course. Sporting extravaganza, 21st edition of FIFA World Cup happening, and of course, unfortunately, Kenya is not taking part. The Harambee Stars, but Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwenda tells us that we need to cross our fingers and probably hope for the best. In 2022, we might make it. I don't know. What do you think? Are you pessimistic? Are you optimistic? I don't know. Personally, I'm just fence-sitting. But now, we're going to speak about something
else. I can tell you for free.
You're going to say something about Harambee Stars chances for free?
For free. Kenya will not make World Cup even in 2030.
Come on, this guy is pessimistic, Joe. Seriously?
Have I lied? Have I lied?
What you have is an opinion, and you're entitled to it.
A serious I can back up my opinion.
Yes.
I can back
Why
it
do you
up.
think we won't make it?
I can back it up. Out of the 207 countries that played in the World Cup qualifiers, Kenya being one of them, we only have 32 teams making the showpiece. And that is the creme de la creme of football. When you realize that the lowest ranked team to play in the FIFA World Cup was Russia, which was at number 70 and did not qualify for the showpiece, they played by virtue of being hosts and all that. But for all the teams that made to the World Cup, have got structures that get them the best of their players. They do not just wake up and dream and say we are going to the World Cup. England has structures from the primary school level to the senior level. Germany has the same thing. Everybody talks about the German youth system being the best. Look at even Netherlands, which has the KNVB, did not even make it to the World Cup.
And even the Azzurri of Italy.
Yes, which have very good setup systems that help them get the best out of these players up to the senior level. United States of America. Then you look at a Kenyan side, which we only have a Premier League, which everybody tells you is hopeless, is hopeful. We don't have a reserve league for our players. We don't know where under 17 players are going to play immediately they finish under 17. Then you say that we'll make it to the World Cup.
But we have, but a country where we're boasting of two players, participating and featuring for top profile clubs in Europe.
Look at the journey.
The name of Victor Wanyama for Spurs,
yes,
and Michael Olunga for Girona.
Look at the journey Mugabe had to have for him to make it to England. Because at the English Premier League, you don't get even, I think, bottom 60 of the rankings. Kenya, we are past 100. Victor Mugabe had to go to Belgium, Celtic, and then make it to the world's best league. Yeah, to the world's best league. Look at Olunga. He had to play for Gor Mahia. Switzerland had a good luck for him, went to China, but Girona had to call him up. You realize that? So, them being there, it's an exception.
It's an exception. And of course, talking about the same, I think we're going to task with these legislators who are in Russia in the name of benchmarking so that they can come on the show next weekend probably alongside other football stakeholders to tell us what they have learned in Russia, and if we emulate locally, we can get to Qatar come 2022 or probably North America come 2026. But away from that, let's speak about something else, top scoring contention. Joe, is it for Hurricane to lose, or Belgium through Lukaku can score against England today and topple him?
Okay, to be a neutral, if it wasn't for the penalty takes, Harry Kane wouldn't be where he is right now in terms of the Golden Boot award.
He scored 2?
Yeah, he scored 3 actually. 3 goals, 3 penalties.
Yeah.
So and then you have Lukaku, and then now you have Mbappe. So it's for him to lose actually, because if he can score 2 goals today, if he can get even a penalty, if he can get a header, the Golden Boot is his. Unless tomorrow France just opens up a Watergate against Croatia, where the likes of now Mbappe can come in and score even 3 to 4 goals. It's for him to win, Harry Kane.
I think people they take the penalty conversation out of the question, but it's not easy for a player to take a penalty. So people have to accredit him for those goals. People say, it was a penalty, it was a penalty. But, my friend, walking from the center line, when a stadium is quiet, and everybody can hear that referee's whistle, walking from the center line to go to the 18-yard box, get that ball in the center and drop it in the net, it's not easy.
But I think they're professionals, they should do it.
Yeah, true. They should do it, but the others miss. Others miss. Messi missed actually.
Nick, what do you think of top scoring race? Harry Kane has scored 6 goals so far. 3 of them are penalties. That is now taking the center stage in terms of talking point, with something that Harry Kane ought not to have been the top scorer so far. I don't know from your end, what do you think?
Well, on my end, I think this is as good as done and dusted, because Lukaku has 4 goals, that is 2 short of Harry Kane 6. And since the group stages, I don't think Lukaku has scored. He's been...
Yes.
Yeah.
He has not.
So I think this Harry Kane might not play the whole game today, because we have the likes of Daniel Welbeck, we have the likes of Jamie Vardy, Marcus Rashford, who as well want to play. So I think Harry Kane, even if he doesn't score, he still has the upper hand to win the Golden Boot.
So it is his to lose.
Yeah, it is his to lose. And on the other side, Mbappe has 3 goals, and in a final, we don't expect someone to score a hat-trick unless it's out of this world.
Unless it's Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah. But of course, something that also attracted attraction and talking point is the ongoing transfer. And Cristiano Ronaldo has just made a summer-whooping move from Los Blancos of Real Madrid, joining the Italian football, which now we are being reliably informed that it will get television coverage. Now, joining Juventus, and we hear that Marcelo, the Brazilian left back, might follow suit and join him as well. What do you make of these transfers in matters European football? Is it now a story of where financial muscles determines who to buy?
I think one thing is the World Cup have overshadowed us covering the transfers and everything, because Ronaldo going to Juventus is really, really a big thing. But I think Ronaldo had done everything he could have done for Real Madrid. There's nothing else he could have done for Real Madrid. And him moving, he lives with one of the best legacies in football. In 5 years, we have won 4 Champions League titles. In his 9 years, he has 2 La Liga titles. I think he's leaving Real Madrid with 16 titles, with one of the best record goals any club can ever ask for, and leaving them at a very good pedestal. Now, going to Juventus, Juventus is a big club, one of the biggest clubs in the world and in Italy. Is he going to perform there? It's a big question, because now he is actually at his prime and is done. His age is now catching up with him. You might say that's one of the reasons you are leaving Real Madrid to go to Juventus. But with his hard work, he's another player who can shock us and also win something for Juventus.
Nick, what's your perspective in terms of La Liga football? Do you think it's a huge setback, Cristiano Ronaldo now making a summer move, ditching and departing the league, where we've seen him making headlines, winning almost every trophy with Los Blancos, Champions League winner, I think 3 times Champions League winner with Madrid, several times La Liga winner with the same team? Is it a hole that will take ages to be filled?
Yeah, in fact, in Ronaldo, he scored 450 goals in 483 matches, and he stayed there for 9 years. So if my math serves me right, he was scoring at least 50 goals per year. That's on average. Yes. So in Real Madrid, Madrid has lost 40 plus goals each and every season. And on the other hand, the El Clasico has been a mouth-watering match because of the Ronaldo-Messi rivalry. So in Ronaldo leaving, I think the TV viewership is going to reduce. Yeah, and on the other end, talking about Marcelo, when Ronaldo joined Madrid, Marcelo once said that Messi was the best player in the world. I hear that Ronaldo did not talk to Marcelo for a whole year. So I'm glad that their bromance has continued and they are set to join each other at the Serie A. And on overall, I think it's going to increase the viewership of the Serie A, and it's going to make it a better league.
Joe, as we wind up on matters transfer, before we come up with now the previews of what's coming up next against pitting Red Devils, Belgium against 3 Lions of England, then Croatia against France tomorrow in the final. Kylian Mbappe or Eden Hazard, who do you think is the most suitable candidate to replace Ronaldo?
I think when it comes to creating chances, Eden Hazard will be brilliant for it. I think when it comes to finishing chances, Kylian Mbappe will be good for it. So for me, Los Blancos should just say, you know what, let's open up this checkbook. Let's get these 2 players.
And sign both.
Yeah, sign both. Get rid of Benzema, sign in Mbappe and have Hazard in. And then if everything goes well and if everything is working well for them in the January window in 2019, go for Dybala.
Actually, I love to add with what Joe has said, because Real Madrid now will be on a transitional time.
Yes.
Because some of your best players are leaving, they are actually aging. Yeah. Now, you have to go out and get the best players. And Perez is one man who has an open checkbook. So don't be worried when you realize that he can bring even Mbappe or Hazard to the Bernabeu.
A friend of mine was telling me though that Eden Hazard overall in a season scores 10 goals, and that is something that he will maintain when he joins Bernabeu, and maybe in case he does that, he will be booed. So there is no essence of him getting signed by Real Madrid to replace Ronaldo.
But here's the same thing. We've been talking about the whole Gareth Bale situation. How many goals does he score in a season? He'll score maybe 10 to 15 goals, but he'll score 1 goal that will make headlines, like in the Champions League final. You need that spark in Los Blancos. You cannot come in as, sorry to say this, you cannot bring in a Vardy, you cannot bring in a Harry Kane, because there's that flair that La Liga has always possessed. And if you get those 3 players, and that is my honest opinion, if you get Hazard, if you get Mbappe, and you get Dybala, you have the flair again that Real Madrid needs. And now over to Barcelona and see what they can do.
Keep sending in your predictions via 22162, starting with the word touch, with regards to the final clash, the mouth-watering, the pulsating tie pitting Les Bleus of France, 1998 World Cup champions against Croatians. And Croatians is a team that has attracted huge and enormous interest from Kenyan fans, most of whom are supporting the team. I don't know why. Maybe because of the president. Not sure though. Osoro knows better. This is the touchline on Y254. We're just taking a short commercial break. We will be up next with the final preview with regards to tomorrow's fixture. Don't go away, stay tuned.